Hello friends, this is Abhishek from Zoom Abroad, and today we are going to talk about the visa interviews, the most common mistakes made by students in the visa interviews. I know this is end of July and most of you are appearing for interviews in the respective embassies and consulates, and quite worried about how to prepare for the visa interviews. So what we're going to talk about today is only some of the important and some of the most common mistakes made by students. So if you correct those mistakes, if you do not make those mistakes, there's very high chances that you would get your visa for sure. All right, so let me go through one by one. I'm only going to talk about five important and most common mistakes that has been done, all right, so far. So number one is do not give a generic answer. All right, so very importantly, when an interviewer is talking to you, they want to really see that how interested you are in going abroad, how genuine your intention is for going abroad. Okay, and they want to be very specific. They want to hear something very specific about your plan to go abroad or study abroad. All right, but if you give a one word very generic answer, for example, if somebody asks you why are you taking this course, and if you say because this is going to help in my job or in my career, that is of course, a course is probably going to help you in getting a good job and help you in career, but this is a generic answer. What they want to know is how much do you know about this particular course, what subjects that you would be studying, what modules that you're going to take, and what how it fits into your long-term goal, how does it relate to your previous qualification that you had, and how does this interest within your hobby, and how does it fits into a bigger picture. So they want to see a connection. They want to see why, exactly why. You need to understand the word, and you need to understand the question, why are you taking this course? So they want to see the specific, the structure of the course, the module of the course. All right, please do not do and give a generic answer of such questions. Okay, explain, go into details, be specific, tell them about the credits that you would get, tell the structure of the course, how many semesters it is, and you need to explain you have made a sound decision by knowing and understanding the exact details of that particular course and how it's going to help you in a long-term goal. You need to connect that. All right, that is number one. Number two, no one word or small sentence of answers. All right, do not answer yes, no, I think it is good. That is very robotic. Okay, it doesn't work like that. It has to be a conversation. It has to be like you're talking to someone. It has, any answer that you give, it has to be a proper conversation, and you need to explain them about why and how you would be achieving or what you would be doing in your plans of going abroad. For example, if somebody asks you, what is your long-term goal? If you say, long-term goal is to do a job. Okay, that is just one word. Of course you may want to do a job, but that cannot be a goal. They want to see what is your dream. Long-term goal is your dream. What is your passion? They want to see how this particular course or this particular country or this particular university is going to help you in your long-term goal, long-term dream. It is something that you might have dreamt about. It is only that you would know, not me, not the interviewer, not the university. You need to tell them what have you dreamt about, and you need to explain them. Okay, and you cannot explain in only one word unless a question is very objective type. Okay, like are you married or you're single? Of course you would say married or single, you would not give them a story. But then unless it is very subjective, objective type question, you need to explain. Do not give one word or a small sentence answers. All right, number three, do not by heart your questions. All right, one of the common mistake, okay, that the student do, they prepare themselves by remembering and by hearting the questionnaires given by the university or by your agency or by your consultancy, and you remember those word by words. Okay, and that is the most common mistake, because what happens in the interview, you do not know if your questionnaire is a set questionnaire given to you and you're prepared for that, and if the interviewer asks you a question which is slightly different than that, maybe worded in a different way, or maybe, they're asking the same question but in a different manner. That's where, if you have remembered it word by word, you would get confused and you would get nervous and you would probably stumble to say any a right answer. Okay, so what my advice is, and very strong advice I highly recommend, is that you do not remember or prepare yourself word by word. And that works for any sort of interview, irrespective of visa interview or job interview. You cannot expect what questions are coming. All right, so you know your concept, you know your facts, you know that you're genuine, and you need to just explain your story. Yeah, and you cannot prepare and expect to be asked the exact question given to you in the questionnaire. All right, use the questionnaire. It's a good practice to use the questionnaire for guidelines only for the guidelines. Okay, why this university, why this country, where the funds are coming from. These are the most commonly asked questions, but you need to prepare, but not by exact word by word. All right, please mark it. No word by word remembering, no by hearting the answers. All right, number 4, gap in your studies or gap years. Okay, according to the statistics, this particular point 4, the gap years, is one of the most commonly used factor for the visa rejections. One of the most out of 5. All right, so if you have a gap year, that's not a crime. Okay, but if you have a gap year and you cannot explain what you have done in that gap year, that leads to a visa rejection. All right, and I must tell you, in my personal opinion, there is no such thing called a gap year. All right, in my opinion, I feel if you have finished your course, let's say in 2016, and you're applying for 2018, there is a 2 years gap according to the people, those who say gap year. But these 2 years, I'm sure you must be doing something. Okay, you must be doing something. I meet so many different students and they say, sir, I was just helping in the farm with my dad. I was just helping in the business in my my friend's business, or I was preparing for IELTS, or I'm improvising my English, or I did some computer course, or various things. But unfortunately, in many social economical culture that we live in, many small or very important jobs that you are doing are not considered as job because it was told that you were not doing anything. First of all, stop answering to those people who says that you did nothing for these 2 years. Okay, ask yourself, what did you learn and what did you do in these 2 years? Okay, the answers would be very clear for yourself. You were preparing for IELTS. You're improvising your English. You were looking and searching for universities abroad. You were actually doing that, didn't you? You were doing that. But then, unfortunately, in many cases, you can produce an evidence and you cannot produce an evidence. Of course, if you have applied to various universities, you can produce an evidence and it can show that you have been doing your research. You can produce your research, what you have found about various different countries, different universities, and you can share that in the interview as well. If you were working, there is a work experience. If you were helping, I met a student who said, sir, for the last 2 years I didn't do anything, but I just went to the gym. Of course, that you did something. You went to the gym, and I can see you are a proper bodybuilder. Okay, and the interviewer can see it, and that is your hobby. So you did something. You need to produce and say that this is something positive that you did. Okay, so be confident about what you did in those so-called gap years, but then be confident and try to produce evidence. So what you have to do in those gap years is, first of all, analyze yourself, what you did in those years, okay, where you were probably not studying. Okay, whatever you did, and you try to see what positive thing that you learned or you did during those gap years, and how could you provide an evidence, and how could you match that work or match that experience with your long-term goal. All right, as long as you can connect your experience or learning, or even if somebody was traveling, even if you went to various different cities in India, or maybe different countries, you were traveling, you were learning, that is an experience. And as long as you are sure that it was a learning, they would be sure that it was a learning. All right, so be confident about what you did in those so-called gap years. All right. Now, the most important thing that I have been talking about it in all the above 4 points. The fifth point is connecting the dots. All right, guys. It is very important that you tell somebody your story. You do not just say what you have just remembered or mugged up, or by hearted an answer. You do not say that. You tell a genuine, truthful, and confident story. All right, giving you an example, I chose this course since my 12th standard. I always say start your story from your 10th standard. All right. Why did you choose commerce? Why did you choose science? Why did you choose arts? Because I thought this is the interesting subject, because I have seen my uncle doing great in that field, and I wanted to pursue that career. Exactly for that reason you chose it, because your friends were taking it, and that was the trend at that time. You take it, and it is okay to change your career or the subjects later on. Okay, that is fine. So you chose X subject in bachelor's, you liked it. Okay, you wanted to pursue that, and you wanted to become this. Okay, so basically you are telling your stories, how you chose that subject, what you wanted to become, how your interest shifted from X to Z. Okay, and then why you're doing this course, and by doing this course, how will you achieve your final goal. All right, as long as you can connect your hobbies to your course, to your career, it is a proper story, and it is a believable, genuine, honest story. All right, so very, 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 very important thing, you need to be able to tell your story genuinely. You need to be able to explain your story with confidence, and you don't have to lie. It is just say why you chose something. There is always a rational, there is always a reason behind any of your choices. So be confident and do that. All right, I hope these 5 points would help you. Number one is what was it? Number one is do not give generic answers. Number two, no short answer or one word answers. Number three is do not by heart from the questionnaire. Do not by heart your answers. Number four, explaining the gap. Number five, connect the dots and tell your story. All right, as long as you do not repeat such mistakes and be confident about what you're saying, you will definitely get the visa. Okay, best of luck from my side and from Zoom Abroad, and hopefully you'll get the visa soon. Let me know. Please do comment, share this video to help as many students you can. Thank you. Bye bye.